talking about journeys, destinations, culture, adventure, gear, conservation, and all the things we haven't yet thought of. This episode is brought to you by Sunwear Solar Technology, a premium manufacturer of fixed and portable solar panels for overlanding vehicles and marine applications. Designed and manufactured in Germany, Sunwear panels are tested under the harshest environmental conditions to ensure rugged reliability for years to come. Trust Sunwear for your solar energy needs, no matter where your adventures take you. Check out their website at sunwear.solar. You'll find the link in the description below. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the At Overland Europe podcast. Today, I'm excited to have Jasmine Wheelhouse join me in the studio. Jazz, as she's better known, is one of the 4 founding partners of what promises to be the best overlanding event the UK has ever seen, the Overland Discovery Expo. The first event is set for late summer 2026. Time flies when you're enjoying yourself, so their doors will be opening in the blink of an eye. So who is Jazz? Who are her colleagues? And what are they offering that is going to make them so successful? Well, I don't know much more than anyone else at this stage, so join me and let's hear what she has to say. As usual, have a look in the description below for links to their website and social media. Jazz, welcome to the show. I tell you what, I am armed with a bottle, no, not a bottle. That is ginger beer, and it literally came It came out of the vat day before yesterday.
Cool. Okay. Well, I have come equipped with a glass of wine.
White wine.
I sacked off the Baileys. Yep. A Sauvignon Blanc. I declined on the Baileys this time, so it was feels a bit too heavy for 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's a bit sweet and heavy.
But we can stretch to a wine. Yeah.
This stuff is made from ginger, water, sugar, and yeast, and it tested out at 9.2%.
Ooh, and you made that?
Yeah,
that's incredible stuff.
It's now settling because this is still a bit. This actually came off the sediment, so it's a bit cloudy.
Okay,
but the racked vat is clearing as we speak.
That's so cool.
It'll be in bottles by Christmas, and the bottles will be empty afterwards.
Exactly. By the time your website launches, there'll be no ginger beer left.
That's it.
Thank you very much for having me. How are you today?
I'm always good. Always in a good mood. I trust you are too.
I am indeed.
Good. Well, we've got a lot to talk about today because everything we talk about today is brand new.
It is. Yep. It absolutely is. New for 2026 and daunting and exciting all at the same time. But it's brand new.
Well, I'll tell you what, because it's so new, nobody in this community knows who you are.
Yep.
So who is Jasmine Wheelhouse?
Who am I? So for the purpose of this podcast, I am the founder and marketing manager of ODX, which is Overland Discovery Expo, a new event that is celebrating all forms of overland travel that is going to launch in the UK in September 2026.
Wow. And you say all forms of overlanding, that's very much in tune with what we do in saying walk it, ride it, drive it.
Yep. We want to harness every aspect of overland travel. So for us, we've done quite a lot of travel ourselves, and that can be, walking. It can be traveling in a truck. It can be every form in between. No matter how many wheels or what you've got on your feet, that's kind of the celebration of what we want to do with this event. Very
cool. I'll tell you what, before we actually jump into the event itself, who are you? What do you do? What's your day job?
That starts, I would say, with a little bit of a story. So I used to run events. When I graduated university, or all the way through university, which was a long, long time ago now, I was in quite a lot of societies, but I also ran my own small events business whilst I was at uni. When I left university, I got a job in London, kind of followed the crowd. Everyone went down to London and got a real job, and I missed having the freedom of doing my own thing. And I knew I was good at running events. I'm quite organised. I just really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the sort of pack up, the adrenaline, the setup for the day, and just running on what seems to be an endless amount of energy just because you're having such a great time. And I kind of said, I would love to do something like this again. So in 2016, around the time where the law changed for alcohol producers. So at the time there was 3 or 4 big gin names, gin, the alcohol. There was Sipsmith, Bombay Sapphire, Gordon's, Hendrix, that were all in the UK market. And a tiny little company called Sipsmith tried to change the law, and they won against the UK government against who could actually produce gin. And all of a sudden, hundreds of backyard producers and gin companies popped up out of nowhere. And I quite like a gin and tonic. And I thought, I was actually debating bringing a gin and tonic to this meeting today, but I've opted for the glass of wine instead. But I said, you know what, there's actually something here. We could run a gin event that allows the people who are producing gin, that can't get into major retailers like the big supermarkets because they simply don't have space on the shelves to put, the 50 local producers up, and these producers that don't have the capacity to serve a supermarket, plus all of the people that want to try different gins together in one room. And that's what I did. I basically created a gin exhibition where people could come and try before they buy, but the producers had a direct access to all of the consumers that came with a need to try these drinks and with their wallets enough to buy them. And I did one event in St Andrews in Scotland where I went to university, and it sold out. It sold out to the producers, it sold out to the consumers, and that was filling a room of 600 people twice in one day in a small town like St Andrews was crazy. And then everyone came to me and said, when and where is the next one? And I said, I don't know. Give me a week and I'll come back to you. And then I went away, and within a week I'd filled my diary for the next 6 months, all across Scotland and the north of England, and just ran that. And I ran it for 4 years. We probably had over 30,000 guests over the course of those 4 years. And then COVID hit, and it shut down literally overnight. I had to refund tickets, had to cancel all of my venues. I had, it just, yourself, like the world just shut down.
Yep.
And the events industry fell on its head for quite some time. And I thought, do you know what, this is, because at that point I'd quit my real job in London, I'd moved back home, I'd bought a house, I'd set up this life on the basis that I was running a pretty decent company and running up and down the country doing events. And then it just shut down, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to reinvent myself here. And got my pen and paper out and said, what made it a success? And it basically, what could I sell? What could I turn this company into? Because I need something to do, and I know that I don't want to go and work for somebody else. I loved the freedom and flexibility that job offered me. And it was that I grew everything on social media. I grew everything across Facebook Marketplace, Facebook. I learned how to create adverts that were high performing. I learned how to create audiences on Facebook. All of the nuances that Facebook provided, I was able to do that and copy that and said, you know what, this is what I've done. I've created an audience that is absolutely massive. I could do that for your company. And I just went out and resold myself as a digital marketing specialist. And that's kind of like the journey that I've been on over the last, when was COVID? My last event was 2020. And the business grew slowly, or at least it kind of revamped itself slowly into a digital marketing agency. I've worked with some incredible clients, some big, some small. And then about 9 months ago, one of my clients asked me to be the CEO of their company. So I'd been doing their social media, I drifted into operations, and then they were like, look, we actually need someone to run this company, and you know it better than anyone because you've been here. They were one of my first clients. So you've been here since 2020. Do you want to run this business? So that's what I do as my full-time job. I'm the CEO of a company that is a snack brand. So we produce peas. So we've got, it's so random, Mike, honestly. It's a very diverse history and experience, but the the company is called Taking the Pea. We basically take British grown Mara fat peas and dry roast them and coat them in the nation's favourite crisp flavours. So that's been going for a couple of years. Under my leadership, we did an entire rebrand. We redid the recipe to remove all of the bad stuff like palm oil, soy, so they're completely allergen-free, vegan-friendly, low in calories, kind of everything that everybody wants at this moment in a snack. And yeah, we're fighting the good fight to see if we can get them into a supermarket in the UK, which is the hardest thing I've ever done, honestly. It's completely mad, and it's a really interesting industry to be in because everything involves cash. You know, it's a pay-to-play industry. Can you give us this discount? Can you pay for this marketing? Can you do this little offer? Can it be exclusive? Can we get a rebate here? Can we do that? So I learn something new every day, but it's quite fun. It's a fun brand. It's cheeky, and it's a healthy alternative to quite a lot of the snacks that are out there. So yeah, that is me in a nutshell.
Wow.
And in my spare time,
that is,
trying to put on an event.
Yeah. I mean, that's really sort of on point as far as the market is concerned. As you say, people are looking for healthy snacks. I would have thought it's quite a fast evolving industry insofar as there's going to be new players joining, but also trends will be developing quite rapidly.
It very much is. And there's always the new products that are arriving are always snapping at your heels, trying to take your spot on that shelf. So you have to be very aware of what is going on.
You can't stand still.
Definitely not, no.
Wow, that is... that's a plate load, to say the least.
Yeah, it is.
How do you carve out time to go off and do something completely new? I mean, overlanding is, thank God, there are actual crossovers between healthy snacks and overlanding. But what got you involved in overlanding? I mean, what's your background there? What have you done that sort of made you think, meet up with some folks and we'll do something good?
This is what I want to do. Yeah, so the thing that made me want to do it, again, we're going back into a story here, Mike. It goes back in time. So around the time of setting up the gin event, I saw an advert on Gumtree, of all places, for a Mercedes 408. Now, I feel like you're going to know the old T1 Mercedes trucks. And it was a fire engine. It was from Germany. Someone had bought it and he'd never managed to register it in the UK. And I rang him up and said, look, I can't afford the advert, the cost of this advert, but I love this truck. And he said, well, this might be your lucky day because I need rid of it. And I said, okay, I'll buy it. And I never went to see it. And I did everything that you shouldn't do when you buy a vehicle. I put my trust in this random man from the internet. And I sent a low loader to his house, and 2 days later, a bright red 50-year-old fire engine arrived on my drive. And that was it. Like, everyone was like, what are you going to do with that? And I said, I'm going to convert it. It's going to be a camper. I want to travel around Europe in it. That's the dream. I want to travel in this van. And I did. I converted it. The second it arrived on my drive, I took a picture of it and sent it to Channel 4. And I said, do you fancy this on George Clark's Amazing Spaces? And immediately they said yes. So that was my TV debut. And it was interesting. And I absolutely loved that fire engine. And I wish I hadn't have sold it. We put a pop-top roof in. We cladded it all out. It was lovely. It had a log burning stove. And I never got to enjoy it. Sold it before, like the house, we split up with my partner, sold the house, sold the fire engine, and I never got my dream trip around wherever I was going in this truck. So that was the first thing, and I just could not let it drop. I was like, that's what I want to do. So COVID hits again, and I've got a bit more free time, and I'm not running up and down the country doing events. So I bought a van. I bought a Luton, and I converted that. And we did end up going across Europe. We got all the way down to Turkey and then kind of did a loop and came back round. Lived in the van, ran my marketing agency from the van. We had Starlink on the roof and, it was just a normal kind of day. Sat in a van, but, you could open the doors and you're sat by the lake in Montenegro, or you open the doors and you're on the beach in Greece, and it was just incredible. And I knew that I wanted to kind of continue with that, but there was a draw to come home. It was coming to the end of the year. Like, my family are quite family orientated. We've never had a Christmas apart. And my brother had just had a baby, so it was my first niece. And we came home and sold the van to pay for the house that I'm sat in now. And I was just like, I miss this. I absolutely miss it. And, 3-4 months after selling the van, I bought another one, and I'm now in the middle of converting it. And I'm very aware that I seem to be the person that has way too many hours to fill in the day. Too many projects on the go. But then I ended up getting a client that was one of the UK's biggest expedition truck builders, and I did their social media. Because I sent them an email and said, look, I built my own van. I love your work. I think it's top quality. I can do marketing. Will you teach me how to build trucks if I work for you for free?
Oh.
And they said, what?
Hell yeah.
Why don't you just come and work? Why don't you just come and do your social media? So I didn't really get the building of the trucks, but I got to hang around some incredible expedition vehicles. Did all of their social media, and then their head of sales and his wife both worked at that company at the time. They've left now and moved up to Scotland, but we were sat around with a glass of wine, a few glasses in, I would say, and we said, wouldn't it be good to have an event that is like the ones that are in Germany, that like the ones in the US? And we were like, why isn't there one? Why is there nothing that we want to go to ourselves that is the kind of vibe that we're trying to achieve at ODX, which we can talk a little bit more about later? And, however many glasses of wine in, we said, should we just do it? And here we are. So there's 4 of us, and we are just doing it because it's an event that we want to go to. And that's where we're at.
An event born out of passion.
Yeah, pretty much. We're trying to create an event that we are all absolutely incredibly passionate about. We love travel. So there's two couples that are part of this. There's myself and my partner Kay, and then there is Gary and Tina. And they've travelled extensively as well.
I've seen their truck, haven't I? It's the red one. You
have. Yeah, they haven't got that anymore. It's called Puddles.
Yeah.
Puddles and Matilda. There were 2 red trucks that went on the road. And they were in that. They've travelled for like 8 years non-stop. They went straight down to Mongolia. They've lived in the truck for an incredible amount of time and have some incredible stories. And honestly, when we sit together, it's a bit like, tell me everything. I'm just a sponge. Like, I want to do it. And as I say, they're now up in Scotland, and they've kind of settled down for a little bit. I don't know how long it's going to last before they get the travel bug again. But yeah, that's our founding team. We're kind of, as a collective, we love travel. Gary and Tina are very much the overland experts, and then myself and Kay come into it with the events as well. So it's
and you've got your building experience. You've lived in a van. You've worked from a van.
Yeah.
You sort of lived the van life as dream, haven't you?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we want to sort of say as well. Like, you don't have to come to this event with the big 4x4 expedition rigs. Like, vans are very welcome. I'll be in a van. We want, people that are coming in the big trucks, the self-built campers. We want the people that are on motorbikes, the people that are bike packing, the people that are hiking across the country. There's so many different stories to tell. And I think to have all of these people with this shared passion and shared experiences, but just different form of travel in one place, is going to be really cool.
Certainly going to be exciting. Because
it is.
Okay, so you know sort of who your audience is going to be. That's what you're aiming for. Now tell me about the location. You've told me before in the past, but this is an opportunity. I mean, it sounds amazing.
It is. It really is. So we started that glass of wine, the infamous glass of wine, was probably May this year, sorry. And we were like, okay, let's do it. But we need a venue. Like, that is the crux of this. We can't say we're having an overland event if there isn't an opportunity for people to get behind the wheel of a truck, a van, a bike, and actually have a go. So the search began, and we went to a couple of venues, and they were quite conferencey. So they were set out for conferences. They were big white-walled buildings, and they were saying, you can't bring dogs, you can't bring vehicles on site, you can't move, you can't do camping, you'll have to get this, you can't be having moving vehicles for the whole of the event, or you can't bring your own camping gear, or there were just so many regulations that, like, you have an initial conversation with someone and you just know, okay, I'm not going to waste your time because it's not for us. And then I spoke to, it was almost like a talk to this person, talk to this person, talk to this person, and then you get to the golden egg. And I got recommended by someone whose name I absolutely can't remember now, but he said, why don't you try Glenusk Estate? And I said, okay. So I give them a call and I said, look, I'm going to briefly tell you what I want to achieve, and all I want you to do is tell me if that scares you. I want to create an event where I can bring big old trucks and motorbikes and all kinds of adventure travel to a space that has a 4x4 track, and you're not afraid of this happening on your land. And she just went, it sounds amazing. We're absolutely not scared at all. When do you want to come visit? And I was just thought, from that conversation, immediately I was like, this is the vibe that we need. So the estate itself is a privately owned estate in the Brecon Beacons. It's got masses and masses of land. But what was the crux for us was the 4x4 track. So they've got 26 kilometres of 4x4 track. It's currently used for some training weekends. They've got actually a company on site that teaches you how to drive off-road. And he runs that, I think, like 10 months of the year. So it's constantly in use, and it's got multiple different varieties of tracks for multiple different skill levels. And we went up, had a look at the venue, had a look at the 4x4 track, and they were like, we recommend you do it in these fields down at the bottom. This is where we host, because they have Green Man Festival there. I don't know if you've heard of that, but that is one of the biggest festivals in Wales. It's a music festival. We've got a footprint here that is, what you could utilise how they do it, and then people would just go up the hill to get on the 4x4 track. And as we were driving up the 4x4 track, there were 3 fields. And I was like, what are these used for? And they were like, well, you can use them if you want. And I said, yeah, like that's entirely... It's harder because there's no facilities up there and it is at the top of the estate. But it means that anyone who comes can literally walk from the exhibition field to the 4x4 track in about 10 minutes. And that for me is just so powerful. And the same, you can walk from the camping field to the exhibition field again in like 2 minutes. So everything is contained. It's like our own little festival site in the middle of the Brecon Beacons in Wales, where if the weather is good, and I say that as almost a disclaimer because we know what Wales can be like, if you do a 360, you've just got this absolutely stunning view of Brecon. It's amazing. So we're really excited about that, and it was the 4x4 track that immediately got us to go see that venue. But on arrival, like, it's the whole package. It's a really, really good venue.
This sounds almost unbelievable. I mean, you're doing an event for a broad audience. It's completely new. You've got an amazing location. And I think the beauty of the location, not having seen it, but is it's in the Brecons. So It's a great place to visit. So it's not just a case of going and joining you guys for a weekend. You can make 2 weeks out of it and explore.
Exactly. And that is absolutely something that we want to encourage. And I can tell you now, that is something that I will be doing. After we've packed down, we will be exploring Wales in our vehicle. And whether our attendees come before and explore and end their travels with ODX, or they start off with a bang with ODX and then head off around Wales, I think it's an absolutely stunning venue, starting point or ending point for any adventure. And that's what I really wanted to... It kind of fell into place. I can't say that was one of the things that we looked for in a venue, but it lends itself really well to the start or end point of a journey.
Tremendous. Tremendous. Well, let's look at your fields for a moment, because you said you've got camping fields and you've got an exhibition site.
Yep.
The camping it'll have facilities, running water or water,
Yep.
toilets, showers, stuff like that.
It will indeed. It will have it will be a bit like at Aventer Allrad.
Mm-hmm.
It will be camping block, showers, toilets, come and get your running water from a certain point. So each pitch won't have its own sort of electricity,
No.
water, etc. But it will have the facilities, so you can come, pitch up, have a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was important for me.
Yeah,
I've put
definitely.
on my tick list posh showers.
Well done. Dogs are allowed.
Dogs are allowed, very important. My dog will be there, whether he'll be under my care or not while I'm running around looking after the event, I don't know. But that was super important to us. Like, we travelled with our dog, Gary and Tina travelled with their dogs. And it almost feels like it was the second on our to-do list, 4x4 track, dogs are allowed. Because for someone who's travelled with a dog, I couldn't imagine leaving him at home. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't feel right to me. So I want it to be very clear to everyone, bring your four-legged friend. Like, that is right up there on my list. And we're not just saying bring them along so they can hang out in Wales. We're saying, actually, there is an area, we're targeting specific brands and exhibitors that are to be part of the event. So actually, you can come along and start talking to manufacturers about different kit for your dog that you're taking travelling, different sporting wear, different food to take on the road. Like, we're actually having an area where you can bring your dog and get some kit and learn about what to take and what works and what doesn't.
Oh, that's very cool. How about kids?
Yeah.
What are you doing for the kids? Because overlanding is sort of 18 upwards, but upwards also includes families and kids. So what are you doing for them?
It does indeed. So this again is something that I feel quite strongly about. I don't want to say that we're able to put kids behind a vehicle yet, because I haven't had that discussion, but if it's a possibility, I'm ready for that. However, we are going to be having dedicated classes for kids. So like bushcraft, stuff, not talks for children. I want an opportunity for them to get involved and try their hand at different things. We've been talking to a couple of mobile climbing walls, so they will actually have some activities to do like that. And then, in my head, there is a full programme of kids' events. It will be very family friendly. What it looks like at this present moment is not written down at all. Mm-hmm. It's something that we're working on. Suggestions are always welcome, but definitely there will be things for children and young people to do so that they don't feel like they've been dragged along by their parents, so that they can just look at big rigs and bikes and, have a day out for the adults. It's very much, a family-friendly event.
Yeah, it's a weekend event as well, isn't it? So
yeah,
lots of camping and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So let's look a little bit more closely. You've got everything sorted out or on the way for the visitors. You've got a show area. What are you anticipating in your show area?
So the show area will be jam-packed, I hope, with different kinds of exhibitors. So I'm wanting to see a varied, and again, this is something I have to preface this with. We are 9 months out of this, so we're very much working on our exhibitor lineup. So we're going to have lots of different exhibitors from all areas of the Overland adventure world. So we want to see, on the website it's called like the Overland Pavilion, the Motorbike Hub, we've got Adventure Gear Zone. In reality, those are going to be dotted around the festival. There's going to be multiple different types of exhibitors in different areas. So you can walk freely around and, discover different aspects that are different to the reason that you wanted to attend the event in the first place. So I want to make it so it's a zone, like an area that you can freely walk and discover different aspects of adventure travel. I've toyed with the idea of having things like a dedicated big rig area, but I think if you're going to just come and look at big rigs, you're missing out on so much more. You have no idea what you're going to discover, and that's why the word discovery is in our name. Like, I want people to come and discover something new, something that they might not have thought about, whether that is a piece of kit, an experience, or they've met someone that, you know, has absolutely set their world on fire, and they go and, you know, change their mind about the way that they want to travel. Like, it is intended to be a discovery show. Like, go and have a look and see what you can find. So there's that. There's the exhibitors. They will be dotted around the field. We are going to have, obviously, food and drink vendors. Food sits very high on my to-do list because I'm a massive foodie. So they will be quite varied as well. And then we're also going to have multiple different zones, like learning zones, and that will be an opportunity to get hands-on with certain aspects of adventure travel, whether it's learning how to tie a knot or, as I said, bushcraft, or learning from people's experiences. So again, we're working on shortlisting multiple different potential speakers, and one of the key aspects for us as people who have attended events in the past, we really want to stay away from having a big stage with just one dedicated speaker at one specific time with a big microphone, and it feels quite impersonal because you've just got an audience and you're kind of on the stage looking down at however many people. What we're going to do here is have multiple different tents. I'm going to say bell tents, but that is subject to change depending upon my event manager. Multiple different tents whereby there will be programmed speakers throughout the day, but you can it's almost like an intimate around the campfire vibe where you feel like you're actually having a conversation with that person and they're telling that story to you. And the reason that we wanted to do that is because I think, as I say, it can be quite impersonal when you've got someone on stage with a microphone, but also I want to alleviate that natural human fear that people sometimes have where they don't want to ask a question because they fear it's kind of stupid. It goes back to classroom experiences. Like, let's have an open conversation. Let's, you know, get closer, get talking as though you were actually just having a conversation with someone, as opposed to being scared to put your hand up and ask a question. So yeah, we're going to be having multiple different speaker areas as well. And when the exhibition closes, that will probably close at 5 o'clock each day, 5 or 6 o'clock. Again, my schedule is off the top of my head right now, but then there will be evening entertainment, and that will be in the campsite area. So again, there'll be a bar there, there'll be an opportunity for you to grab some food, listen to some live music and hang out with the people that you've met. And then the campsite is open to everyone to just, you know, that community vibe, sit around the campfire, which, again, we are allowed campfires as long as they're raised, which is quite a lot of the venues wouldn't allow that. So Glenorsk, I have to give massive kudos to, because everything I've asked for so far, they've said, yeah, no problem. So as long as we're safe and the campfires are raised off the ground and it's not ruining the grass, then you can sit around the campfire and talk adventure travel until the early hours of the morning, which is kind of the vibe that I want.
Tremendous. This is, I can say for myself, I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be fun.
Fabulous. I really am as well, I have to say. I'll probably be shattered and running around like a crazy person, but it's going to be really good. Yeah. I'm really excited.
I'm sure. Well, I'll tell you what, because so you've got the event, you've got the venue, you're drawing in the crowds, etc. What about the local community, the sort of the Welsh community? How are they going to respond to this, or how are you partnering and working with them? So
again, super important. The actual estate itself is the local village is quite small. So obviously we're speaking to the council about traffic management, having the signs to make sure that people are going the right way and not blocking up the locals' everyday life. However, we are keen to engage with the local community. So we are going to have again, this is a job for me as marketing manager and website developer. I will be amending the website to have a plan your trip section. So no deadlines as yet, because I'm not going to impose this and say it out loud, but shortly, we'll be having a plan your trip on the website where we can say, look, this is the local pub that we recommend. So the people that are coming to us can leave Crick Owl and the event site and go and, spend money in the local community, because at the end of the day, there's going to be some heavy vehicles going through that village, and I would rather be friends with them and have our event benefit that local community rather than not, and then us lose our absolutely perfect venue. And as we've said previously, the opportunity to explore, not only in the surrounding areas, I mean, Crick Owl itself is beautiful, and then as you go outwards into Brecon, absolutely stunning, but so is the rest of Wales. Like, it's a place to explore and go far beyond the local area. So if I could say anything to anyone that's thinking of coming to ODX, just plan your trip, visit the Plan Your Trip page on our website when it is live, and make a bit of a trip of it. Don't just come for 3 days, do a week. The campsite is going to be open the day before and the day after the event ends, so you can have a bit more extended time to hang out there. But, stick a couple of days either side and see Wales and see the local area.
I think for people coming from the north or the south, adding a few days is a logical one. But I think also if which you are, attracting visitors also from the continent, then plan it in as part of your Welsh or UK adventure.
Yeah, definitely. It's an opportunity to discover the country. It is an opportunity to discover Wales. And certainly if you are coming from France, Germany, and further afield, like, make an adventure of it. Absolutely make an adventure of it. And if you can, spend a week, 2 weeks. I mean, you probably won't be able to do the whole country justice in that time. So if you can extend it, I would absolutely recommend you do. But yeah, definitely a few days either side as a minimum.
Going back to the community, you're going to also have locals delivering things like fresh bread or bread rolls.
I wasn't, but I'm going to now. That's how. This is the benefit of having these conversations, because we can say, I hadn't thought of that. And, it's happened to me a few times in the last couple of weeks where I've said, you know what, I'm so pleased that I've spoken to you, because that's a cracking idea. And we're so early on, and, there's 4 of us in the team that we can say within 5 minutes, that's a great idea. Absolutely. Fresh bread, bacon for bacon sandwiches, locally sourced. Oh yeah, I'm ready for that. That sounds fantastic.
Because for them, it's a massive audience, which they would certainly
could have
not
like
get.
A little local shop.
Yeah.
On site.
Yeah, or just have, at least a baker roll up in a van a couple of times during the day and bring fresh rolls and breads.
Roll up, no pun intended there, but yeah, I think that's
precisely
a great idea. Absolutely.
God, there's going to be a lot going on.
There is. There's a lot going on in my brain right now.
I'm sure.
There is a lot to think about, but it's fun. I enjoy this kind of thing. So
it's got a set date, so you've got something to work towards, and you can't push that boundary. It's got to be done by.
Absolutely not.
Whenever.
We are. The doors will be open on the 10th of September. And they will be open before to all of the exhibitors to come in. So we've got 9 months to pull this off and make it an unforgettable event. And an event that I'm very conscious, having worked in events, that the first event makes the memories. That's that you've got one opportunity to make a lasting impression on whoever's coming.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to achieve here. We want to make this year the absolute best it can be. And make sure that we're taking on board conversations that I'm having with people like yourself and other exhibitors, and saying, this hasn't worked in other shows. Have you thought about this? And we're saying that's a great idea. Let's talk more about it, because at the end of the day, we want the event to work for us, but it has to work for everybody involved as well. It has to work for the people who are, packing up their business for 5 days and driving down to Wales and showcasing it to potential customers, but it also has to work for the people who are taking 5 days out of their life and, coming down to Wales, and even the people that are having 1 day in there. It has to work for everyone. It has to be an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
So,
right, let's nail some bits and pieces here. The dates?
So the official event is the 11th to the 13th of September 2026. but the campsite will open on the 10th and close on the 14th.
Perfect. The website?
overlanddiscoveryexpo.com.
Which is also abbreviated, isn't it?
Yep. You can go to odx-uk.com as well.
All right.
You can also go to .co.uk and it will be redirected if I've done my job correctly.
Jolly good. Okay, so that's all there. For people who are interested, are you sending out things like newsletters on a regular basis?
We haven't started yet. We've sent out one. But yes, what I'm also very conscious of as a marketer is not to bombard people with non-entities of information.
Mm-hmm.
So the next newsletter we will do will introduce the team, we'll introduce ourselves. Again, this is a conversation that you and I had, Mike, a few weeks ago. Like, I think your opening question was, who are you? Like, and, 4 other people have been like, who the hell are you for? And I still haven't got around to putting that on our website. I will do. And then it will come out as a newsletter. Just to introduce ourselves. Like, I want people to know who the 4 of us are, but also the fact that if you have any ideas or thoughts or feedback, you can email one of us directly. We've all got the same email address ending. Mm-hmm. And, our names are pretty obvious. Like, we're here. We are people that you can talk to. So yeah, the newsletters will be going out. It's probably starting in January. And as I say, we want it to be useful information. So when we're starting to confirm the lineup, confirm the speakers, confirm exhibitors, have anything that is of interest to potential people, then yes, we will send a newsletter, but we're not going to bombard you with spam.
Right. And you obviously will be running your social media
I will.
Accounts and experience. So
yep.
There'll be lots over a period of time then to see as to what news there is, even if it's not in a newsletter.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will be pushing out social posts. If you do want to follow us on any channel, we have at Overland Discovery Expo.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. The same across YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, which is quite nice. It speaks to me as a marketer. You don't have to do something different for each channel. And then, yeah, you can follow us on social media. We're pretty active. We also will respond to messages that come through on any one of those channels. And as we progress into exhibitors listings, speaker profiles, sponsors, etc., they will all have a profile on our website, and they will also be showcased on our social media as well. And as we get closer to the time, I've got some absolutely incredible drone footage of our first trip to Glanusk, which definitely needs to be shown. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. So we will be sharing that as well.
Oh, that sounds good. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
I think you have it under control. Sounds good.
The word is not think, Mike. You
All right.
know we've got it under control.
I know you've got it under control. That's it. All right, enough of event. Well, to be honest, you have no time, so you can't be doing anything else. Or have you got other things which you're sort of doing in your private life which sort of says, I can take a step back from all of this and do what I enjoy, other than work?
So I do have to say, I'll start this with, I do enjoy work. My partner is like, can you relax? And then I'll, I'll be sat at my computer typing away, doing God knows what, like organising something or finding a speaker. And my answer is I am relaxed. Like, this is me relaxing. That's just who I am as a person. But in answer to your question, we are going to India 9th of February to the 10th of March. And when I was to see my best friend from university, basically, I met on my first week of university, met a girl from Delhi, and we just became best friends. We lived together for 4 years, and it's been too long since I've seen her. So we're heading over to India, beginning of February, hanging out for a month. We're going 2 weeks to hang out with Shivanska and her family, and 2 weeks just travelling ourselves. So we're going to fly into Delhi, this is the rough plan so far, leave our ski stuff, because we're going to go skiing at the end of the trip in the Himalayas, which is incredible. But we're going to fly out of Delhi, leave our ski stuff, go down to Kerala, and then work our way up. And I haven't quite decided as yet what form of transport that working our way up is going to be. Have always travelled on 4 wheels, but more recently And it actually was from one of our conversations, Mike. And again, from this event, I've recently done the tester CBT learn how to ride a motorbike thing. Don't know what that looks like or what that should actually sound like, but that's what I've done. We did a 2-hour test and I've got a CBT booked for the beginning of January, which in the UK allows you to drive something silly like 125cc, which is nothing, but for someone who's never got on it before and has always had a parent's been like, don't you ever get on a motorbike? It's a big thing.
Yeah.
And then to say, just as a disclaimer, not one of my family are listening to this because it will give away my I'm about to ride a motorbike secret.
Oops.
Exactly. So the plan is to potentially hire something in India and, throw ourselves right in at the deep end because I don't like doing things by half and try and move our way up the country on 2 wheels. But
that sounds like fun.
It does sound like fun, doesn't it? There's a couple of off-road courses that you can do, which I'm thinking that we might indulge in while we're there and then just see what we can do. So I'm excited about that. Then we might do a little bit of, relaxing.
You should.
And then we are.
I'm just looking. I've just sort of jumped on my phone here to have a quick look, but maybe Royal Enfield. They might be doing 125s.
I've already eyeballed them because I think if I was to get a motorbike, and I don't want to offend anyone here, so I'm going to say this politely, but if I was going to get a motorbike, I think it would be a Royal Enfield because they just look really sort of classic cool.
Mm.
And it's kind of my style. And again, I will say this as a sort of disclaimer to the event. Everyone who's running this event is very much excited about, we have done overland travelling, but none of us have done it on 2 wheels. So that is our learning curve and we're open to suggestions. I am deep diving into the world of overland travel on 2 wheels and speaking to some incredible people so that we have a decent lineup and a decent show for people who are travelling on a motorbike. But it is, I think that the biggest thing is that we are open about that. So what I was going to say is that if I am going to travel on 2 wheels, I think it would be a Royal Enfield just because they look beautiful.
There you go.
And I'm sure there will be so many people that say, but have you seen this? Or have you seen this motorbike? And that's beautiful. It just speaks to me, speaks to my soul. That's it.
Brilliant. I think that's
so
also...
I'll report back in March.
Yes.
Whether I've done it or not.
I shall be following you regularly to see what you're up to.
Yep.
But that again is, it's another aspect where you are focusing now well ahead of the actual event on, let's say, topics where you're not at home with yet.
Yeah.
But by the time the event happens, you'll have, let's say, hands-on experience.
Yeah. That for me is key.
Yeah.
I'm not going to profess. I don't know everything about everything. And I don't know everything about van life, even though I've lived it, I've built it. I don't know everything about the big exhibition rigs. Expedition rigs. For me, whilst this is really exciting, it's also a massive learning curve. And I love that. Every single time I talk to someone, I'm like, wow, tell me more, let me learn. I'm just trying to be as much of a sponge as possible whilst bringing my own expertise into it.
Brilliant. Life is not boring and you've got so much ahead of you and you're going to India and you're going to be possibly riding on a motorcycle through India. And
then going skiing. We have to talk about the skiing in the Himalayas.
All right, then talk about the skiing in the Himalayas.
This is where I learnt to ski. So I, from the age of 14, have snowboarded. I snowboarded all the way up to probably the age of 23. Mm-hmm. And then I went to Kashmir, which is in the contended area between India and Pakistan, and with my friend from university who has a house there. And she said, should we ski? And there is an area called Gulmarg, and you're either off-piste or on the road to the golf club. And that's it. You either learn to ski on the green slope, which is the baby slope, which is in the summer, it's got an incredible golf course, and that's the road up to it, or you get on a gondola that was built for Italy in the 1970s, and you're off-piste with a guide. And my guide was, quite a few of our guides actually, who are unbelievably talented skiers and just experts in the whole area. It's like completely white, but they kind of know it like the back of their hand because they've been doing it for years. They were all part of the India ski team. So I learned to ski, and I love this fact about myself. I was taught to ski by a member of the Indian ski team. How cool is that?
Not many people can say that.
I know. So I've been twice, and this will be my third time, but my partner's coming this time, and I'm going to be like, look, here's your guide. Come back as confident as I am, and then we can match in our ski level. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Tremendous.
So yeah, should be good.
It will be. Good grief. God, I'm sure people want to go along on this because that just sounds like an amazing trip.
Oh, if I could recommend one place to go to ski, it would be there. It's outstanding, absolutely outstanding. So I think we're doing 5 days there, and all along this time, I'm going to continue to try and plug ODX and continue the graft. So if I'm speaking to you at, I don't know, they're 5.5 hours in advance, for 10:30 at night for me, it'll be 5 o'clock for you guys. So yeah, we're ready.
All right. On that note, let's draw today slowly to a close, because I think it won't be too long before we have an opportunity to discuss what's happened. What have you learned? What events or what people are going to be joining you?
Yeah.
And then we can grow the conversation from there.
Absolutely. I mean, we can continue to check in. We are very much driving hard to get some incredible exhibitors, and we've got quite a few signed up already. I'm not going to say who they are as yet because I want to do a launch properly.
Sure.
And we're having some really good conversations with people to come and speak, to give instructor courses, to make the event really stand out. But I'll keep that under my hat until the next time we speak, I think.
That's a good idea.
Definitely.
Keep us all full of anticipation.
Absolutely.
All right. Jazz, well, thank you very much for coming along today. Fantastic talk, so much information.
Yeah.
And so much to look forward to.
Thank you so much for having me.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's exciting. We'll keep chatting, but I look forward to seeing you in September in person.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. Well, you take care, and I'll say it. Don't normally say it, but have a good Christmas. Merry Christmas. It's just around the corner.
1 week to go. It is.
I know.
You too.
All right then. Take care.
All right. Speak soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the At Overland Europe podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and download our app for more adventures and exclusive content. Remember, you can find our guest social media and websites linked in the description below. Until next time, safe travels.